This video will cover the setup of the Michigan Scientific Telemetry Wheel Force Transducer. Michigan Scientific offers two varieties of the Telemetry Wheel Force Transducer. This video will show the removable telemetry bar. We also offer the internal telemetry components. So first step is to install the transducer with the adapters and install the stator behind the wheel force transducer as seen in the previous video. So we'll take the telemetry bar and install it to the transducer. We have to carefully check for the dowel pins for both the transducer alignment and for the pin alignment. So find the dowel pins, carefully align them on both sides, press it together. Tighten down the bolts, snug them down now. Next step is to connect the cables to the CT2 telemetry box. This is the cable connected to the telemetry stator. That goes into the input connector. And then we have to connect the dongle. So this dongle has a serial number that matches the serial number on the transducer. So we plug that into transducer ID dongle connector. We're also going to connect the power cable and the Ethernet cables for connection to the laptop. We've got power connected to the CT2 box to DC power. We turn on the box. And the first step will be to reprogram the frequency of the telemetry stator. If you've already used them as a matched set or they were delivered in a matched set, then you don't need to do this step. But if you're installing a new stator, then you have to connect to the CT2 web page and connect it to the stator. So after you've changed the subnet of the computer, then you type in the address 192.168.28/telem.ssi. Connect, and we've got the proper dongle in there. We simply connect, hit the connect new telemetry stator button. It should say updating radio 0 and updating radio 1. Idle. So we've reprogrammed the telemetry stator to match the frequency of the transmitter. And now we see we've got a data valid light as well. So that means we are receiving signal. If we rotate the wheel a little, we see some faults. That means that we need to do an auto tune on the telemetry, or on the induction power. To do that, you simply press the button here. The blue light indicates that we're in the tuning process, so we have to wait for that to complete. We'll finish the tuning process, and now it says data valid light. And if we rotate the wheel, we should rotate the wheel the entire revolution and not get any fault lights, and that's the case. If you rotate it and you get one induction error as you rotate, then you should stop at that spot. We get the error and do the retune. In this case, we've got no errors. So there are also some indicator lights on the telemetry bar. There's a solid green light here. This is for the induction power. Whenever there's power to the transmitter bar, this has a green light here. This light is for the transmitter. It's blinking green now because everything is good and we're finished with the shuttle sequence. When you first turn power on to the CT2 telemetry box, for the first 30 seconds we have these lights on. That means it's in its initiation shuttle sequence. And now down in the bar we see the orange indicator light, meaning it's going through the shuttle sequence. During this time you just wait for it to complete. finished. So we can proceed with the next steps of the setup. So we're going to go from run mode to setup mode. And the first step is to do the shunt sequence. So we press the shunt sequence, and it's going through the shunt to calibration sequence. So if this shunt sequence finishes and the fault light does not come on, then it has passed the sequence and the shunt calibration is within 2.5% of the factory shunt calibration. The shunt sequence is finished. The fault light did not come on, so it's past the shunt sequence. The next step is to do the zero angle. For that, we're still in setup mode. We press the zero angle button, and we rotate the transducer until we see the light start to flash on the zero angle button. Once it starts to flash, then we find the Z plus arrow on the transducer. It's hard to see, but it's right there. So you want Z plus arrow, point that vertically towards the ground. Point straight down. We're going to take a digital level, lay it across the top bolts, and rotate the wheel until we get within 0.2 or so of a degree. Degree. Once we have it pointing vertically towards the ground, we press the zero angle button again. Then the third step of the setup is the zero. So we're still in setup mode. We press zero, and we just have to rotate the wheel 2 revolutions. So we're gonna press on this telemetry bar, rotate 2 revolutions. Try not to put much load into the transducer. So we passed 2 revolutions, the zero light turned off. So then we can go into run mode, and the transducer is finished with setup and ready to connect to the data acquisition.